and welcome to my channel. My name's Samantha. This is the Budget Mum UK, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can feed your family of 4 for £30 for the full week of food shopping. That's breakfast, that's lunch, and that's your evening meal as well. There's probably even going to be some left over for a snack. Okay, so if you think that's something for you, then do stick around and come on in. Hi guys, my name's Samantha. I'm a single mum to 2 children, recently quit my full-time teaching job to work part-time and set up my own tutoring business. Prior to that though, and this is the good bit, I used to own a 120-seater restaurant. I managed it quite well by myself, and that means that I've got some really good insights and some really good tips on how you can eat well without having to spend too much money. Now, in today's video, I'm going to give you some really handy tips, some really good ideas. Of course, you can tweak and change them. Check this out, and you are going to be able to do this for under £30. We're going to break it down into 2 stages. We are going to do a bit of a food shopping list, which we're going to check out in a second. Then I'm going to take you shopping. We're going to put together all ideas. We're going to plan it out for the week and show you some of those recipes as well. Right guys, so I've got 2 documents here which I use to help me with my shopping. I've got my weekly meal plan, and this, I tend to work with them together, so they work simultaneously. In an ideal world, when I'm planning my own food at home, obviously I'm going through my pantry, I'm going through my freezer, I'm checking out what I've got and I'm using those things up. Today, however, because I wanted to make sure that you could do this along with me, I'm doing a brand new shop. The only thing that I'm going to assume you have got in your cupboards perhaps are some sort of cooking fat product, oil, butter, something like that to cook with. You probably have some salt and pepper, maybe some stock cubes as well. We're going to see how we go with that. You might have extra condiments that you want to use as well. There are so many staple ones that if you can get those in your pantry, keep them in there. They will save you a fortune and they will last so long, but that's not what we're going to get into today. So there will be a couple of assumptions on the way, but ultimately, on the whole, I'm just going to assume we're going to do this from scratch. So of course there are tweaks and changes that you can make as you go along as well. That's going to help you. So this is my weekly meal plan. I might jot down here if I know I've got something that I definitely want to use up, or if I've already got something in the freezer that I want to pull out and I have that ready for that night, for example. Or if I know I'm eating out on a certain night, I might jot that down there as well. Or if I've got somebody else extra over for dinner, that might go on there as well. So it just helps me stay prepared. This next one is my grocery shopping list. So we've got the essentials basically broken down, space for anything extra that isn't necessarily groceries that I might want to jot in there to do my planning with. And I tend to work these together, as I said. But what I'm going to do today, because I'm going to give myself a budget of £30, and I'm going to go through what I think would be ideal for us to have for the week. And when I'm planning, I'm thinking about the next day and maybe even the next day after that as well. Because I'm not a family of 4, quite often I'll have some left over, so I'm able to freeze that, able to use it again either the week after or a couple of weeks later, or maybe later on in the week. Your circumstances are different, obviously, or they might be the same as mine, so you need to change that up for yourself. So let's have a look. I'm going to start off with my meat section. We're going to put mince. Now the shopping list could effectively change. When I get in store, I might find something else on a better deal. Something else I'm not going to do as well is buy anything from the reduced section. I want to make sure that you're able to access all these things for the same price as well. So these are going to be my meat bases for the week. We've got some mince, usually beef. If I can get in Asda, then I'll tend to get a mix of the beef and pork, because that tends to go a little bit further. But because I'm going to Tesco, I know they don't do that. I just get the beef for that. Chicken fillets, again, I always get fresh for this, but that might vary depending on prices when you get there. Quite often there's deals on that as well. We've got the whole chicken. Fruits, I'm going to come back to that one in a second, but let's do grains. I think pasta is always a great winner, and you can spend as much or as little as you want on pasta as with rice. They have like premium and they have your basic. Right, so we've got pasta with rice. I'm going to throw in some wraps, a couple of bags of those, see what's on offer for that, and some bread maybe. We'll have a look at bread, see how much it is worth getting. And of course some cereals for the week. We'll get a couple so they can have a switch up of different ones. You don't have to have the same. We'll go with some flour here in the pantry. I'm going to get some tomato puree, which is also really good. Right, in here we're going to grab some cheddar cheese. We're going to get some milk. Now I always try and get a really big milk because it's really, really versatile. We can use it for lots of different things, especially when we're going to throw some cream cheese in there as well. Let's have a look at vegetables. So for this, we're just going to go with fresh vegetables as well. Of course, you can get them frozen, it might be cheaper. So we're going to have some leeks, potatoes. That's going to make a really nice soup for a few days, amongst other things as well. Now, although I don't like frozen vegetables, so things like onions or leeks or things like that, I don't mind the mixed vegetable packet, so that's really quite useful to add in like your 5 a day and just add it on the side of a meal. But in terms of other things that I am going to get for fresh, I think that will be fresh for that for myself. Again, like I said, you can get them frozen if you want to save yourself a bit more cash. I'm going to check out what fruits are on offer when I get there, but as a general rule of thumb, I'm going to throw some bananas down, maybe have a look at the price of apples. I think we'll see, maybe have a look at some oranges, tomatoes, and we'll see, maybe sometimes plums are normally quite good this time of year. Apologies if you could hear any little noise in the background. My 2-year-old is currently running around trying to keep himself entertained. So what else have we got? I might have a look. I don't tend to eat fish, so I'm not going to be putting that on there. Snacks I can make from this. We'll see how much money's left over. Let's have a look. We're going to have a look. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to buy. It's always good to go in with a general idea, but like I said, tweak it and change it once you get in there, depending on what the best prices are. So let's go shopping. The last couple of things I'm going to pop down on here. We're going to get some baked beans and some tinned tomatoes. Those are amazing for making great dishes. And of course, let's have a look. I think I might chop lettuce to some. Okay, so now we've got all our shopping in, pretty much what we expected to get. Now basically what I tend to do for breakfast is just leave cereals out Monday to Friday. It's just got to be quick and easy, so they can have a mixture of the cereals. And then come Saturday, Sunday, we tend to have something like toast. Beans on toast is usually quite good. And then cheese on toast is another favourite we like in our house. So it's quite easy to do, it's just something a bit warmer. And there's usually some fruit to be had here as well. And even if it's on the go, because I don't know whether your house is like mine, where it's just crazy busy every morning and we just need to get something really, really quickly. Okay, so my plan here is to do a roast dinner, kind of. So using the whole chicken that we've got, we're going to do a roast chicken. We can use some of the potatoes that we got as well to make, you can choose to switch it up, make some mash, make some jack potatoes, whatever you want to make yours with. We're going to use the roast chicken, the frozen veg, and what we're going to do is use some of the leftovers as well. So let's have a look at that. So I went ahead and cooked the chicken according to the instructions. I put a crumbled oxal cube, stock cube, on the top of the skin, gives it a bit of colour, a nice bit of crunchy texture. I used the frozen peas that I had and drained off the water, saving the water because I'm going to use that to make a gravy. Add stock cube and just thicken it up with a bit of flour or corn flour if you've got that, and you add some of the juices from the roast chicken as well. So this is it plated up. I actually only needed to make this for two of us, so I only used one breast between the two of us and some of those potatoes that we bought earlier. And with the rest that's left over, I'm going to be using to make wraps and sandwiches for the rest of the week for lunches. Right, here is a nice leek and potato soup. And I've got a little video on how I've made that as well, which I'm going to pop in. But this is going to make so much that I'm going to be able to have this quite a couple of times throughout the week for lunches as well. I'm even going to have some leftover to throw in the freezer. So to make your leek and potato soup, so go ahead and just melt some butter or oil, and then we're going to add around about 500 grams of those potatoes that we bought. You can give or take depending on whether you prefer more potato or more leek in your soup. Then you're going to go ahead and add in 1 onion. Fry that off. You want to do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. Give it a really good stir and make sure everything's mixed in and well together as well. Once you're happy, everything's softened nicely, then go ahead and add in one of those leeks. Again, vary how much you'd like to add in there and give that a good stir until everything's just about nice and soft for about 5 minutes. You don't want the heat too high, we don't want it to burn. When you're happy that's looking okay and a little bit of colour is really starting to shine through, add some salt and pepper to season this, and then we're going to make a special steamer. You need to grab yourself some parchment paper. If you can, just pop it over the top. It doesn't have to be cut out or anything fancy, and then pop the lid on. If you haven't got the parchment paper, the lid will do as well, but the paper does help to keep a lot of the colour in those vegetables. You're going to steam this off for about 10 minutes. Just check on it. You can see there we've got the water ring, so we can see it's steaming away quite well. You want it on quite a low heat here. And once that's had time to finish off, you're going to go and add in a stock, about 850 to 1 litre of stock, and you can make that from just vegetable stock or keep it with a chicken stock cube if you want a little bit more flavour in there, and let that go again for about another 5 minutes. After that, you're going to grab yourself a hand blender. You might want to do this in different sections. Mine was fine in here. It's going to be really, really thick, so don't worry about that. And the next thing you're going to do, once it's as chunky or as smooth as you like, is add some of that whole milk. You can add as much or as little as you like. Again, if you do have cream, go ahead and throw that in there. My budget isn't allowing for it. We're going to thin that out. If it's still not to your taste or to your thickness, once it's all incorporated, you can add some more stock if you prefer. Of course, the thinner you make it, then the more soup you're going to be able to make. This is looking really nice and unctuous. It looks really, really delicious. And a quick taste test just to check for seasoning. And once you're happy with it, then yeah, you're good to go with your soup. I actually made so much of this. I got enough to even pop into a Tupperware dish and freeze for next week as well. Excuse the mess. Just going to pop in here where we're going to have that. So let's have the soup here. And it'll probably last here as well. And like, you can even take this to go, so if you're like working away, or children can take it in the flask or whatever to school, so it's quite useful to have there. Now on this day and on this day, I'm going to make a wrap with the leftover of the chicken. Can make some salad with that, with some of the lettuce and tomato. And over here, I'm going to do it again, but I think I'm going to make a sandwich rather than the wraps. And again, so our lunches tend to be things that you can just grab and go and not spend too much time on. Because we're bulking it out with the salad, we don't need as much chicken in there. You can add mayonnaise if you've got it in the stock cupboard, or something else that you might like. If you've got sweet corn, for example, you can throw that in there as well. Have just a chicken and sweet corn wrap, perhaps. Now on this day here, I think we're going to do jackets. In fact, yeah, let's do that, jacket potato. And then we've got a couple of options for our topping. We've got cheese, we've got beans, so we could use one of those, or, and I'll show you in a second what else I'm going to throw in there. And this one here, we're going to have pasta, and I'm just going to explain about that as well when we come to do the dinners. So on this evening here, I think we're going to grab the minced beef and potatoes, use some of the carrots, maybe some of the frozen veg, bulk it up a little bit, and we're going to cook off both the mince with the onion and the vegetables, and then before we actually do anything with it, we're going to separate those. So because you're filling it all with the vegetables, there's loads of opportunity there to make a couple of dinners. So I tend to split mine. I'm going to use one half of it to make a cottage pie, one half to make a pasta bolognese. So if we make the cottage pie here with some of the mash as well, and then over here, if we do pasta, well, let's do it over here, let's do pasta bolognese. So then it's not staying too long. As a rule of thumb, I'll cook something and it should be fine for about 4 days in the fridge anyway, as long as it's fresh meat. So we've got that. There could be some left over, depends how big your portions are. And then over here, we're going to use some more of those leeks, and we're going to do chicken and leeks. We're going to use like a cheese and a cream sauce. Well, we haven't got cream, we can't afford cream. And the recipe for that is right here. Start by melting some butter or some oil over a medium heat. Whilst that's melting, chop up your chicken and your leek as much as little as you would like. And then, once that's ready, you should be able to pop just the chicken in the frying pan, tossing and turning, stir it until it starts to become brown on all sides. This should take around about 5 to 10 minutes. Don't put the heat too high, we don't want to burn it, we just want to make sure that chicken's cooked right through. And once you're happy that it is, then you can go ahead and add your sliced leeks, so that we can start to make those nice and soft and add a little bit of flavour into your dish. Now we're just going to keep stirring, mixing everything together. This should probably take about 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how many leeks that you're going to put in there, whatever suits your taste. It should be about a 50-50 kind of mix. Once you're happy, everything is cooked through, you're going to go ahead and add some stock. Now this is just a stock made from chicken, a stock cube and hot water. You could use a vegetable stock, whichever you would rather, and go ahead and stir that. Once you are happy that's all taken care of, add in half the cream cheese that we bought from our shopping list and give it a really good stir. If you have cream, if your budget allows it, you can pop some of that in there or add some milk as well. But once it's all plated up, you should get a nice velvety sauce, and this is your chicken and leeks. You can choose what you want to plate yours up with. I've just gone ahead with frozen peas, and I had some new potatoes left over, but definitely you can make some mash or make some wedges or something else with those potatoes that we bought earlier on as well. So we're going to grab some more of the chicken, and we're going to use the tin tomatoes, some spice as well, and we're going to be making a chicken curry, and those spices will last forever in there, and we'll use that with the rice. And here again we're going to make a pasta bake with, if you've got anything left you can throw whatever you want in there, but it's really good. Tin tomatoes and pasta and cheese is just absolutely fine, but if you've got loads of veg left over you can throw that in. If you've still got some chicken, throw that in there. It's your pasta bake, and it'll make a really big vat of that, and we can have that then here for the lunch leftovers as well. Add some salad with it if there's some left, a little bit here. You can mix that up however you like it. And then finally on this night I'll use another of the wraps to do homemade pizza. And if you haven't seen those before, basically you just take your tortilla wrap, use some of the tomato puree you've got to make your base, then top it however you like. So if you've got some of the cheese left over, you can use that, and then if you've got anything else that you want to pop on there, whatever you've got in your cupboard or in your freezer, you can throw that in. And not only that, children have fun making it, and it's so much cheaper than Domino's. Like, this is why there are so many successful pizza takeouts, because it literally costs pennies to make a pizza. But you could make the dough yourself. This is just like a cheats pizza really, if you like, and it's quite healthy as well because they're only really thin base. So something to get involved with if you've got a bit of time. That's why I tend to do those on a Saturday along with the roast chicken. So that is our meal plan for the week. I hope you found it useful. We've got 84 meals in there when you times it by 4 for 4 people, and it's come in under £30. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, comment, thumbs up, subscribe. I would absolutely love you to join us on this journey, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.